What do you see as some of the major components from human connection moving into the leadership space?
I think the foundation of building and tapping into that connection is listening. It's so often we tend to focus on what to do, how to do, what to speak, how to communicate, but most of it, and especially 90% of all we communicate, we express, is in the non-spoken, in the non-verbal. So there's a lot when it comes to leadership where listening can make a huge impact. And when I say listening, I do not mean just listening to the words that are being spoken, but also listening to where the person is coming from, what is happening in their world, right? What do they care about? What are their concerns? What are their strengths? What do they like? What they do not like? And if you can know that as a leader, that's a huge leverage that you have to build that connection. First of all, to have people feel safe, but also to tailor your work, also be flexible with your working style so that you treat people the way they want to be treated, right? You do not want to overload somebody who has two kids, right? Just for somebody, family might be important, but for somebody, growth might be important, right? But unless you listen to that, unless you listen to those emotions, those passions, how can you even be considerate? How can you even be empathetic? So for me, listening is the foundation. Like talking about it because this is so paradoxical. Listening in many ways is seen as something passive. But what I am suggesting is listening as an active activity where you are fully focused on the other person. And that takes practice if you're not used to it. And most of us are not used to it.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone knows the importance of listening. It's something that gets talked about all the time. My experience is that most people are pretty bad at it. The type of listening we're talking about, the real active listening, being present, like physically, emotionally, connected and present with the person sitting in front of you to have that conversation. That is something that I think is just a challenge. And because everyone has their stuff, everyone has their own baggage, everyone has their own stuff going on in their head, their own internal dialogue. And depending on the nature of the conversation that we might be having, I might get defensive and then immediately, rather than being there with the person, I'm thinking about my defensiveness and what the next thing is I'm going to say. Or if I have some sort of preconceived agenda, I have something I want to do to fix this person or to fix this situation or whatever, I'm not just being present there, listening and hearing and learning. And that's a really hard thing.